would you like to see pay a price for this?
Oh, the people should pay a big price for what they've done to this country. They should pay a big price. And their partner, very complicit, is a thing called the media. The media is totally guilty. And all of those writers and so-called journalists, they're not journalists, they're thieves. All of those journalists that received a Pulitzer Prize should be forced to give those Pulitzer Prizes back because they were all wrong. There was no, because if you saw today, more documents came out saying there was absolutely no collusion with Russia. Came out very loud and clear. And they wrote for years because they tried to do a number on the presidency. And this president happened to be me. Pulitzer Prizes should all be returned because you know what? They were given out falsely. It was fake news. They're all fake news. Those Pulitzer Prizes should be given back immediately. And the Pulitzer Committee or whoever gives the prizes, they're a disgrace unless they take those prizes back. Because they got Pulitzer Prizes for what turned out to be false stories. And Pulitzer Prizes should be given to the ones that got it right. And I could give you a long list of those names too. And you know who I'm talking about.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, General Flynn has officially had his charges dropped by the Department of Justice, thereby exonerating him of the crimes he was being framed for. We're going to dive deep into that. Q's got a bunch of brand new posts that tell us all about it, and we're going to keep exposing this coup no matter what. So you guys are going to want to stick around and check out this episode. Plus, we're going to cover President Trump's latest remarks and how they relate to everything that we've seen on the boards. You guys are going to want to stick around to check that out. Hi, my name's Craig. Welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. You guys know I say thank you if you guys have hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, it's really quick, simple. Just come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and then select all so you get notified as soon as all of these videos get posted. Today, we're picking up right where we left off. We left off at 4137, and we're picking up at 4138. And yes, we have major news today. General Flynn has been exonerated, something that we have anticipated coming for quite some time now. The DOJ officially dropped the charges, and we're going to see what Q has to say about it. Plus, we're going to look at the latest highlights from President Trump giving remarks about it that you guys want to see, and that is definitely going to be it here on this channel today. We have a lot to cover, but before we do that, just a quick reminder, this video is brought to you again in part by Brave Browser. You can download it for free using the link in the description so they know I sent you. And what is it? It's an internet browser. You can use it on your desktop, your laptop, your smartphone, whatever, your smart device. But it's a better internet browser. Better than Chrome, better than Firefox, better than Internet Explorer, better than Safari. Why? Because it blocks the ads. And it's got a bunch of other built-in features that make it a better product. So check it out if you want it for free using the link in the description to download it, install it, and run it today. And I guarantee you guys are going to enjoy this product. So with that, let's get into the latest Q post. First is this Huber Hammer Q post, which is showing us, and it says here, I'll just read it. More of that LARPing the shills must be talking about. 1 minute Delta Q in before POTUS, only the gazillionth time, hashtag QAnon. So here we have Q posting, and literally within 1 minute, within 30 seconds, 28 seconds later, you have President Trump tweeting. So this is a way that we've seen for Q to give a verification indirectly to the Anons that President Trump and Q are associated directly, because we know that this obviously, I mean, Q told us and showed us the graphic of Dan Scavino in the White House Oval Office with his laptop saying, showing President Trump, and here's how you post on the 8kun boards. So yeah, just another proof of Q. And of course, one other thing that I think is interesting right now on Twitter, we have the Flynn hashtag trending, right? Flynn exonerated is trending at #1 across the country right now as of this video. So that's pretty incredible that with that even with the suppression and all of the stuff they've done to try to push this down, it still breaks through their content suppression algorithms, and we still can get these messages out. We just have to continue to push against them, right? I'm talking about the big tech censors who want to shut us down. So that's Q giving us that. And then Q says, calculating lag near impossible. watch the news today, tomorrow, next week, Q. So remember, this post was put up just before the news broke about General Flynn. So Q was telling us to watch the news today, tomorrow, and next week. Because this morning I did a video, as you guys probably know or have seen. And if you haven't, you should go watch it, which I think's being a little bit suppressed by the great, wonderful content suppressors over at YouTube. But yeah, I did this video earlier this morning, and it was just before the news broke. So now we're doing another video to get this information out. And yeah, Q told us it was coming, basically. Watch today. And now we have bigger news coming tomorrow and next week. And we have a bunch of information that's been released now about the interviews that were conducted by the Senate Intelligence Committee with regard to this Russia hoax. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to expose these criminals, and it's starting right now. So, with the next post, Q gives us this tweet, which actually is from a walked away account from US Patriot, and it shows this clip.
Everything I did was permitted by law and regulation. I had one device.
Secretary Clinton used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email on that personal domain.
My use of personal email was allowed by the State Department.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material.
There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I never sent classified material on my email, and I never received any that was marked classified.
So there you saw it. I mean, the person here says, I feel that he should have been given a Medal of Freedom for this, but I think what's interesting to look at is if you go back and see the person, now they've blocked their tweets, right? Or they protected their tweets because I'm sure the Anons were going after them. But the person originally posted this and was saying basically that, they were having this argument about how Comey was basically a criminal and da-da-da-da, right? So I don't remember the exact conversation, to be honest with you. I'm sure the Anons can throw it up down in the comments below because I read it earlier, but ultimately what it was this person saying, oh, I feel Comey should have gotten a medal for this, but it was kind of like tongue-in-cheek, showing the criminality of all of them together, right? And then Q comments on that saying, facts versus fiction, bridging posting of Patriot Twitter accounts serves to expand reach, prevent collapse, and maintain strength through unity. Q. Interesting post from Q, but that seems to be what we're looking at now, and I just thought I'd share that with you so you could see it, and you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, the next one here is this AP tweet saying breaking Justice Department is dropping criminal case against ex-Trump advisor Michael Flynn. According to a court filing obtained by AP, the prosecution has been rallying cry for the president in attacking FBI's Russia investigation. And I'll leave a link to this actual article if you want to read through it. But Q says right here, let freedom ring, Q, and gives us the flag graphic. So the U.S. flag graphic, I should say. And think about that, though. Now, General Flynn has officially been vindicated. And let's hear what President Trump has to say about that. I have a clip I want to share with you from President Trump talking specifically about General Flynn.
Any other
Mr.
questions?
President, could we get your reaction to some breaking news? The Justice Department has decided to dismiss the case against Michael Flynn. Are you aware of that?
I didn't know that was happening at this moment. I felt it was going to happen just by watching and seeing like everybody else does. He was an innocent man. He is a great gentleman. He was targeted by the Obama administration, and he was targeted in order to try and take down a president. And what they've done is a disgrace, and I hope a big price is going to be paid. A big price should be paid. There's never been anything like this in the history of our country. What they did, what the Obama administration did, is unprecedented. It's never happened. Never happened. A thing like this has never happened before in the history of our country. And I hope a lot of people are going to pay a big price because they're dishonest, crooked people. They're scum, and I say it a lot. They're scum. They're human scum. This should never have happened in this country. A duly elected president. And they went after him by going after fine people. And those fine people said, no, I'm not going to lie. I can't lie. He's not the only one. There are many of them. And they all said, I can't lie. They could have said something like, oh, make up a lie. Trump loves somebody or something or some country. And they said, oh, you wouldn't have any problem. That's what they were trying to do. And it's a disgrace. The Obama administration, Justice Department was a disgrace. And they got caught. They got caught. Very dishonest people. But much more than this. It's treason. It's treason. So I'm very happy for General Flynn. He was a great warrior, and he still is a great warrior. Now in my book, he's an even greater warrior. What happened to him should never happen again. And what happened to this presidency? To go through all of that and still do more than any president has ever done in the first 3 years is pretty amazing when you think of it, with what we've done with regulations and tax cuts and Second Amendment and all of the things we've done. It's never happened. And until 2 months ago, we had the greatest economy in history. Unfortunately, we had to, like you did in Texas, we had to close it down. But for these people to have done that, I am very proud of General Flynn. I can tell you that right now.
So there you heard President Trump laying it all out on what happened and saying basically it's treason. And I don't know about you, but what's the penalty for treason in this country? If you willfully and knowingly commit treason against this country, the penalty is death. So that's what may end up happening to these people who betrayed this country. And that's the President of the United States telling us that. So whatever these big tech fascists do in censoring us and, removing our ability to share this information, they can't change the fact that it's treason, according to the President of the United States. They can't change U.S. law or the U.S. code regarding that. And they might be able to silence a few of us, but they cannot silence us all without basically destroying their own platforms. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. And this is, as Q has said before, information warfare that we are engaged in. Now, the next one gives us an older Q post where it says this: the public will learn the truth. The media will attempt to spin as a partisan attack. The House will push for Barr removal. The House will open investigations into Barr Durham lack of confidence. So Q's calling the shot here from before, saying, full disclosure, declass provides truth. Foreign corroboration provides truth. What happens when corporate media knowingly pushes false propaganda information? What happens when corporate media can no longer be trusted? The silent war continues. Q. So then Q gives us a link here to this Adam Schiff post, tweet where Schiff says this: Flynn pled guilty to lying to the FBI about his illicit Russian contacts. His lies do not now become truths. This dismissal does not exonerate him, but it does incriminate Bill Barr in the worst politicization of the Justice Department in its history. Well, think about that. This is exactly what Q said this was going to happen. And now they have nothing else. All they can do is say, oh, well, now we're going to have to go after Barr. These people are treasonous criminals, and they're willing to do anything to try to unseat a duly elected president and enact this coup and cover for the crimes that they've been engaged in for decades. So just let that sink in. And I think little Adam Schiff is really in trouble, as are a lot of other criminals inside of our government who've been enacting this coup against President Trump. Q just says, keep watching the news. All right, we will. Now, the next one here is this intelligence.house.gov release of information. The Russia investigation transcripts, a major part of them have been released, right? So let me ask you this. This is by far one of the biggest drops. This is the declassification. This is the one we've been waiting on. There are so many documents in here you can read and go through. And I think right now, a lot of the anons are actually scouring through these as we speak. So I will leave links to this in the description. We all have to get together and start digging through this. That's what Q wants us to do, I think. That's why Q's giving it to us and showing us this is what we need to dig into. And there is more to come, ladies and gentlemen. So in the next couple days, we are going to be seeing all of the nitty-gritty details that expose these criminals, these treasonous traitors inside of our government who ran this coup against a duly elected president and tried to harm innocent people in order to effectively overthrow President Trump. That's where we're at. The next post here is this Kevin Cork tweet, and it says #new. Sources tell Fox News acting DNI Richard Grenell is planning to release new trove of documents as early as tomorrow, expected to be related to the Russia probe and will be significant, per Ed Henry. Yeah, more is coming. So we're going to dig through these tonight. I'll leave links so you guys can get through them, and we have more to come, as Q has told us is coming. Q says, be ready to dig Anons. Meet Q. And yes, there is a lot to dig through here. Then Q, of course, gives us this article again, the one we got earlier, which, you know, you guys remember is the infrared video of the painting of the target and then the UH-60 helicopter shooting it. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, again, Q is calling his shot, and we're seeing it in real time happen. So, it's very fascinating. Finally, the next couple posts here, Shannon Bream, of course, coming out with this tweet saying, if you're still catching your breath from today, I'm told next week will involve a bombshell. I'm standing by. Well, if there's bigger bombshells than this on the way, then ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is what's going to expose them all, and this is going to lead to the destruction of this deep state cabal inside of our government, and it will end with the draining of the swamp and the exposing of these criminals for who they are and what they are, and that is treasonous traitors against this nation. And I'll tell you right now, as a citizen of the United States, I am thankful that we have people in the right positions doing this work right now. And all I have to say for all those people who helped enact this coup, helped foster it, helped cover it up, they will be held accountable. And they should be contacting defense attorneys as we speak, because they are going to be the ones on the chopping block, so to speak. So, yeah, that's what that is. Finally, Q gives it, and then Q says, focus on tomorrow first, Q. Yeah, well, we're going to get big stuff tomorrow as well. Then Q gives us these two graphics here. One is President Trump, which appears to be on Air Force One, saying, drain it, calling in a bomb or airstrike, it seems, right? Metaphorically. And then there's the B-2 bomber, Bill Barr, usually is what that references. And, yeah, so we'll have to see what comes out tomorrow, but it's going to be big, whatever it is. And right now we do know that we have enough information to say that these people, these criminals who tried to overthrow this country are going to be held accountable. We're going to expose them slowly but surely. We are in the midst of the declassification. So just keep that in mind. Now, the mainstream media, this is going to be their spin on it. You know, the House Intelligence Panel released transcripts of the Russia probe. And of course, they're already releasing these articles saying, you know, quoting Adam Schiff saying, the transcripts released today richly detail evidence of the Trump campaign's effort to invite, make use of, and cover up Russia's help in the 2016 presidential election. That's from Adam Schiff that he put out in a statement. So, look, this is going to be their spin. They're going to say, look at all this evidence of how they invited Russian help. Well, what about all the evidence of your corruption, of your complicity in covering up this coup against President Trump? Nobody's going to talk about that? We're just going to ignore all that? No. It will be exposed. You mark my words on that. And finally here, I just want to cover this. Remember, back in February of 2019, we had this information that was put out there about McCabe from, I guess, his book where he talks about the one thing that stood out from his faithful call with Flynn, and it's so appropriate. But according to McCabe, listen to this. The interview was very odd. This is talking about him interviewing General Flynn, because it seemed like Flynn was telling the truth to the two agents who interviewed him, including since fired FBI agent Peter Strzok. Flynn, the interviewing agents told McCabe, had a very good recollection of events, which he related chronologically and lucidly, and did not appear to be, quote, nervous or sweating, and did not look side to side, all of which would have been behavioral signs of deception. McCabe wrote that Flynn seemed completely normal, even when on 3 occasions Flynn looked at the window and told agents, "What a beautiful black sky." Can you imagine? I'm just picturing, General Flynn standing, in the White House looking out the window, knowing what was coming, knowing that both him and his family and his world was going to get turned upside down, right? But he knew that it was the storm that had to come to expose all of these criminals, and he was willing to walk into that storm, unafraid. That's what a patriot is. That's what a patriot does. That's what somebody who loves their country and is willing to put everything on the line, that's what they look like. And that's why I'm glad and thankful for the sacrifice made by Flynn. And regardless, we do know that Q has alluded to the fact this has all been a part of the plan, right? This is how we expose these criminals, right? We caught them. We set them up. We allowed them to go after Flynn to expose themselves for what they are, treasonous criminals. So that, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately will be what the history books will remember. What a beautiful black sky. I have a feeling that might be the name of the movie that they make about Flynn someday, to show what a patriot he was and how he fought for this nation at a time when it was so dark and it was so lost. So, yeah, proud to be an American. Thankful for the sacrifice and service General Flynn made. And I hope one day to be able to interview him. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll have him on the show here and we'll have an interview and we can talk about all this stuff. But for now, I can tell you that we're just very, very thankful to have him exonerated. And now starts the hard part of exposing these criminals, showing the treason, and holding them accountable. So I'll leave links to everything in here that we covered today. So if you're interested in finding those, you can go down in the description of this video and pull those out from there. But that's pretty much where we're going to wrap it up. A few more things before we go. Obviously, watch these videos, share them, break the content suppression algorithm, because it is in full blast right now, given that they know they're being exposed. So they have to pull out every stop to try to suppress our voice and silence us. So remember to hit that share button, come here, subscribe, select the notifications, all of that. You got to get that information out there. That helps the channel out big time. And also leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to think about everything that we talked about here today on the channel, especially when if you guys go and start digging on those documents, you find anything interesting, throw it down in the comments. And if I find any interesting comments and things that are picked up, I will take them and put them in the next video. So definitely go and do that. A few more things before we go. You can help out the channel. Find me over here on Twitter at JustInformYou. That's the Just Informed Talk page. And also at Informed News, the justinformednews.com Twitter page. And you can find me over here at justinformednews.com, which, as I've said, is revamped. We've updated the links. We've updated the news feeds. And you can still get the same great videos from the channel. As soon as they're posted to YouTube, they're posted here on the website. So it's a great place to go, justinformednews.com. Another great place you can go is find me over here on bitchute.com/justinformedtalk is the backup channel. And of course, a couple other ways you can help out. Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. Your support keeps this channel alive in the face of all the demonetization. Trust me, YouTube has done everything they can, and Google, to not only put this channel out of business by taking away its monetization, but they do things like suppress it using their content suppression algorithms and downgrade it in the Google search results, among other things, to try to suppress this content, to keep it away from the public. But with your support, with you guys breaking through those content suppression algorithms by sharing this content, you make a difference, and then you guys can help support this channel here with this monthly donation through Patreon. It definitely helps out. And each and every one of you, I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you have kept this channel alive. I couldn't have done it without you. I also have a GoFundMe set up. If you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation, links to everything that we've talked about here today will be in the description below. Now, before we go, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. And for this segment, we're going to share a prayer, right, out of the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 17 through 19. And this is my prayer for all of us out there. that hopefully will provide spiritual insight and help us understand how we can deal with this kind of adversity, right? Because no matter what, this is a tragic situation that our country has found itself in, right? And we can only pray for the spiritual insight that comes from Christ. And I want to share these words as a prayer for each and every one of us, but I'm going to read it as it is written. It says, I pray that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the glorious Father, would give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him. I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, so that you may know what is the hope of his calling, what are the glorious riches of his inheritance among the saints, and what is the immeasurable greatness of his power to us who believe, according to the working of his vast strength. Amen. Now, that is it. We have to ask for the spiritual wisdom to know what to do in these times, right? Because like I say, we shouldn't just be looking to God when we're in trouble, right? A lot of people tend to do that. A lot of people, wait until they're on, the brink of destruction or something terrible has happened to cry out to God and say, God, come into my heart and help me find the wisdom or strength and courage to do what I need to do to overcome this. But the same we must do in times of victory, in times where we have succeeded in exposing the truth, right? And helping to bring justice. We need to look to God even more. And we need to pray to God above that we will receive the spirit of wisdom and the revelation of the knowledge of him. Remember that no matter what happens through all of this, God wins. We know that. And we take solace in our eternal salvation. And we are warriors for Christ first. And we do put the gospel out there to help others find the power and strength that comes from Christ, right? And to find God's grace, which is exists in abundance for all of us. But just remember that even though we win these small battles in this great war of good versus evil, we have to stop every time and thank the Lord that we've made it to where we are now. And I know to some people that sounds counterintuitive, especially when, people ask the question, well, why do bad things happen? And why is this allowed to happen? And why do we have to face such great evil? It's because the world is full of these things, and God has warned us of them. But God's also given us the tools to overcome it. God's also given us the ultimate victory, which is our eternal salvation through the sacrifice made by God of his Son on the cross for our sins. And if we just remember that and hold on to it and embrace the Holy Spirit that lives inside of us, we can overcome anything. And just remember that. And if you want to help lift up your brothers and sisters in Christ, you just need to take that message and believe it and share it and put it out there and thank God for all of the gifts that he's given us, especially when we have good news like this. So remember, fulfill your ministry, spread the gospel, share the message of Christ's love with your friends and family and neighbors and everyone in the world, and put it out there and live righteously, lead by example. These are the ways that we defeat this and we continue to overcome it. So that's my message to you. That's where I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I want to say thanks to everyone for watching. You guys remember to come here, hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget, headbutt it, tap it, bop it, twist it, punch it, whatever. Hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. That's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.